Good evening. My name is Lou Manor, and I'm enduring here in Plainview, in the People's Republic of California, California, some say. Soon to be, hopefully someday, the great state of Jefferson up here in the north part of the state. The reason for my being here today is I intend to get a little more serious about studying our founding documents and our founding forefathers, and all that they meant to us that we should be realizing and understanding, because they had lives and challenges before them that were far greater probably than what we're facing today here in this country. But if we don't study the founders and where they came from in their thinking and where they came from in their studying and so forth and so on, we're not going to be able to hold up as a country. This nation became in time, the most powerful, the richest, military strength, all of this, the most giving, most free country in the history of the world. And there was a reason for that. There was a reason why they came to be what they became and what we became. I also want to meet a challenge, and that was from John Jay, the first Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. And he made the statement that he said, all citizens should study the Constitution continually, all the time. Don't let up on it. Be diligent in its reading. Be diligent in its understanding, and teach it to those that are coming behind you and after you. You know, the Constitution was one of the most amazing documents ever put forth. The Declaration of Independence, of course, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. Amazing documents, and that are still enforced today. Many countries have had constitutions and they've gone by the wayside many, many times over and over again. Our Constitution has lasted for 240 some plus years. I plan to keep this project in mind, and the concept I plan to keep in mind is the vital expedition. That's the main emphasis I want to make. It's the vital expedition, because instead of the article a vital expedition, I wanted to make it more defined and more specific and more direct. So it's the vital expedition. There may be others that go on other expeditions and have other ideas about how to approach this, but it's the one that I'm personally attacking myself. I didn't want to make it ambiguous, so I put the word vital in there, the vital expedition. Vital connotates things that are necessary, serious, and urgent. As fast as things are moving in this country today, and as fast as things are changing, and different things are being thrown at us continually, on and on and on, all the time, we need to keep our perspective and keep ourselves focused on the things that need to be looked at and challenged and be ingrained into our own lives and thinking in order to keep this country moving. I use the word expedition, the vital expedition, because it communicates a journey, an exploration or a quest, even sometimes a war or a battle. And we're in a big battle today for the culture of this country. I don't think we can deny any of that. It's come at us whether we want that war or not. It's changing whether we want it or not. So therefore, we have to be on top of it. There's a lot of ground to cover. I think it'll be worth it. I'm not in any way an expert on these subjects, but I want to be mindful of this mindful expedition. You know, there's a lot of people, a lot of intellects that say, well, you shouldn't be studying this Constitution because it's too big for the regular person to be considering. It's too much for people to be, trying to tackle and to take on and try to understand all of it. But you know, the founding fathers wrote the Constitution and all the founding documents for people to understand. And they wrote them for us to figure out on our own what they meant and by what things that they said and so forth. Actually, the Federalist Papers, the essays written by Madison and Jay and Madison and Jay and Hamilton were written for the 18th century farmer to understand. So therefore, I believe that we ought to be able to understand them if they could understand them. And although they were some smart people, the regular folks were smart people because they studied this stuff on their own. And then finally, I wanted to leave a final statement, and that is a statement from the 1620s by William Bradford, who was involved in the Plymouth settlement. And what he said was in his writings was that the founders of this country, the Pilgrims, considered themselves to be stepping stones for future generations. And so they committed their lives to the fact that they knew others would benefit that followed them. And so it's interesting to note that we may be in the same situation. We're in situations now in our country where things seem to be going awry and going backwards, but we need to step up, learn our documents, learn our foundations, learn where we came from so we might be able to implement those into our culture and into our way of life today so that we can proceed. We're never going to proceed and never going to get any better unless we go back to what started it to begin with. And so with those thoughts in mind, I want to put forth a list or a group of videos in the next months and days and weeks ahead and study this material from a perspective of somebody who's maybe I've studied it somewhat, but not a great deal. So I want to study and I want to learn, and I want to make an expedition into this challenging area. So stay with me. TheVitalExpedition.com is what we'll start with, and we'll probably be on some other mediums as time goes by. Thank you.